So I know a few of you out there are probably saying, hey, I've seen these pistols before, and yes, that is correct. These are the Tokarev replicas, CO2 pistols, 177 caliber BB. They are the pistols, the Crosman CTT in the middle, and the Gletcher, the first, that I've done the modifications so that they have the blowback function. Anyway, in this video, what we'll be going over is the modification that I did to the Gletcher TT, which myself, along with a few others, did not know or think was possible. And that was to have the hammer stay in the cock position as the slide cycles. So I did not do that modification to the Crosman in the center. So you can see what it looks like without the modification, and then I'll show you the Gletcher, what it looks like with the modification. And I had a viewer, Parallel Arms 5645, asked me if if that was possible, and was I going to at least try it. And I told him I was working on it. Well, I've done it. It wasn't easy to modification, and I will roll in a video clip of basically what I did to modify the trigger bar, and that's basically what needs to be done for that to happen. But I did not show the soldering of the trigger bar because I was just so happy that the fact of happy that I was finished to try it, see if it worked, and it did. And I was like, you know what, I'm not going to take this pistol back apart. But at least I can show you what that looks like. Anyway, first up will be the CTT, and you will see how that functions. And then I will show you the Gletcher. And then, yeah, I'll talk to you about the comparisons between the Gletcher and the actual firearm at the end of the table, which is a Chinese clone of the Russian Tokarev. That's a 9mm. Here is the trigger bar for the Gletcher TT non-blowback, which I have converted to blowback. Now I'm modifying the trigger bar so that when the pistol fires, the hammer stays cocked back. So as you can see, there's a trigger bar and there's a disconnect, which I cut, and a support for the disconnect. And I will solder them together, and you'll see the results. Okay, so here comes the demonstration. This here is the Crosman CT. The only modification I did to this pistol was the blowback modification. It does not have the trigger disconnect. So the hammer, when I press the trigger, the hammer will fall, the slide will cycle, go back, and the hammer will come back with the slide. Lock open on the last shot. All right, next up is the Gletcher TT, non-blowback. Also has the blowback modification, and it has the trigger disconnect modification so that as the slide cycles, the hammer will stay in the cock position. Lock back on the last round. So, but as you can see, the hammer is staying in the cock position. Now, I must say that there was some good and bad with this pistol. I don't know how much bad it would be considered, but By doing the trigger disconnect modification to this pistol, you lose a function. And that function is, here's the CTT, you can actually, on the lowered hammer, you can pull the trigger and it will fire. Now, after the modification with this pistol, as you can see, that no longer works. So, I actually have to cycle the slide to get it to work. Now, again, like I say, that can be good or bad, but not really a bad because that's actually how the authentic pistol is. It's a single action only pistol, not a double action pistol. So this is more like the real thing, which is this here. And the only difference is it has a different grip on it because the other one to me wasn't comfortable when shooting it. It would actually kind of hurt my thumb, the safety would. So the safety's been removed and this grip feels a lot more comfortable in the hand. So I will show you what that looks like. Again, the hammer is down. I press the trigger, it will not fire. Oh shit. This thing's difficult to pull back with the hammer up. But here we go. Lock back. Again, it will only fire in a single action position. So, now that I completed this modification, I actually enjoy this pistol even more. Yes, it's possible, but it's a difficult modification. You either have to know someone who welds or can solder. I soldered this one, and I did practice for a while. I did solder this one. It's rock solid. I used the correct solder, and I used a torch, and I brought it up to temperature, so it's not a cold solder. It actually flowed into the joints, and it's solid. It's not going anywhere. But like I say, with that modification, I enjoy this pistol even more. So yes, it is possible to not only convert the non-blowback to blowback, but to convert it to where the hammer stays back in the cocked position. But again, you will lose your single action function. But that's fine with me because, again, that's how the real deal is. Anyway, this is a happy day for me because I didn't know if that was possible. It took me all of a week to do this. That's ordering the parts, the materials that I needed to get it done, and probably, I don't know, 2 days of cutting metal, grinding it, soldering it, making sure it worked properly, which I had to do a couple of revisions to get it to work right. But before I forget, there is a Russian website on this particular pistol here, the Gletcher TT, but I think there's in blowback. I got a lot of good pictures off of that website. So I will leave a link to that website if you're interested. Anyway, that's it for today.